And in fact, they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
Except for the 2 minutes they gave you.
Well, except for that, but they did have to change the name of it, and of course this event was broadcast, televised all over the country. It was on CNN and it was on C-SPAN, and I heard from some people in other parts of the country who happened to have seen it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't. We really, our organization really doesn't want to be offensive. We don't want to. We'd rather make friends than enemies, but we can't sit still when we're being discriminated against, which is where people like you come in and say, "This is not. This is unlawful."
There's just being a person who's not from here, unlike Ron, and I know you're not originally from here, but you've been here a long time.
A large part of my life, yeah.
It always amazes me the way that people here think that a religious dimension to any kind of thing is normal and correct. Because I come from the north, and generally, no, I mean, people would never think of having. People would never think of putting a picture of Jesus in the courthouse. It would be like, what? You can't do that.
Of course, you're referring to a current problem,
case,
which has happened locally,
just
nearby.
Just as an example, or I was a minor public official. I was a member of Board of Fire Commissioners, and we started as I was saying earlier, we started every meeting with the chairman saying, "Okay, call the roll." No prayer, no pledge of allegiance.
You're saying
nothing.
that you came from the northeast of this country, where that's.
People
isn't this also
the point I was making? Is people that there are religious also.
Exactly.
It's just they don't think automatically that their religion belongs in all parts of public life.
They're aware of the Constitution, which says that there should be some separation. But it's not just the Northeast. I think if you go out west, like to California, you also find that kind of understanding that government and religion in this country have flourished because they have been separated. And in the countries where they have a national religion, the religion hasn't come out so well. But we're stepping on your toes when I want to hear about some of your cases.
Well, this is good. I like these discussions. I love a free for all. Oftentimes I lecture. I give continuing legal education courses, and I never just stand up there and lecture to the group. I say, hey, everyone can jump in. So yeah, this is good. I like the format that we're doing here. But you get back to church-state issues. And what I find is that it's really not a gray area. It's so blatant what you find them doing. And their rationale is that we are a Christian nation, we're a Christian community, totally disregarding the fact that everybody isn't Christian. And unfortunately,
this was never begun as a Christian nation.
No, not at all.
It's a nation where the majority of people are Christian, but it is not a Christian nation because it is totally not. It is totally non-sectarian. It was our Constitution did not include the words God or Jesus.
No, it doesn't. And you see that with the New Orleans City Council. You see, opening prayers. I mean, opening council meetings with an invocation, and nobody seems to think that something is wrong with that.
You say nobody. There are a few of us who think there's something wrong with it.
Oh, definitely.
And maybe even at least one of the council members, but they're unwilling to do anything about it.
What do you think should be done about it? Let me turn the tables on you.
I have two positions. Number one, I think there should be no invocation because the general concept is an invocation is a religious exercise. I don't think it belongs in a governmental body. Court rulings have not necessarily supported that position. But if they're going to have invocations, at least they should be non-sectarian. And I think the courts have agreed that if you're going to have an invocation in a government body, you can use the term God, but that's as far as you can go. and it can't be, Allah or Jesus, And so at least I think the New Orleans City Council should be that restricted to that limitation.
And they should probably rotate their presenters rather than have them all chosen by one black minister who is in charge of booking the people to give the invocations.
You're absolutely right. But however, if they were forbidden to make it sectarian, then that sort of makes that moot, because even if they had a raving evangelist, he still would not be able to use Jesus as part of his prayer.
But that's true. But still, they need to open the if they're going to have one, they need to open it up to all groups and allow a rabbi to come up once in a while. And maybe non-sectarian invocation,
and an imam,
but the persons delivering it should be open to all religions.
All right. Well, so from the legal point of view, what they are presently doing, would it be your point of view that it is unconstitutional?
Definitely, because as you stated earlier, that the case law says that you can have. There's an exemption for legislative bodies, and the cases have said that a city council is a legislative body. You can have invocations, but they have to be non-sectarian, and you can't have an invocation in which you end it with, your most merciful Son Jesus Christ, and you see that in a lot of these invocations, and. It seems as though it was written by some national group and just sent down to everybody, down south, because they all seem to use the same sort of language in their
Well, our organization, has no problem with people exercising their religion at home or in their churches. We just think that they should remain outside of government bodies.
Just for the education of our audience, something that has come up a couple of times when I look at a lot of these blogs after there's an incident of some sort, and a lot of newspapers allow their readers to write in their opinions. And one of the things they're always bringing up, besides it's on our money, which of course it only since the 1950s and all that, but they're always saying, but when you go to court, you put your hand on a Bible and say, "So help me God." Now, I know that's not true, because I've been sworn in.
You do not have to
even
do that.
in the state of Louisiana. Even in the state of Louisiana, I know you have the option of not swearing and not using any text at all to swear on. But I thought you might.
But you do have to say you're going to tell the truth.
You affirm.
You have to affirm that you're going to tell the truth.
And instead of saying, I affirm, on the Bible or in the name of God, you can say, I affirm, based on me, to tell the truth.
Well, you can just say, I
will tell the truth.
I affirm that I will tell the truth.
And I doubt that there is any difference between the quantity of truth that comes from the people who put their hand on the Bible and the people who don't.
It was interesting because in an article, yesterday's newspaper, where the mayor of Slidell referred to the ACLU as Nazis and the Taliban.
Yes.
Now, if anything, I think they're more akin to the Taliban as far as religion, a state-run, state-controlled religion. Then far more so than the ACLU. As a matter of fact, we are the exact opposite.
Exactly. Well, as we sit here today, the question of the portrait of Jesus in Slidell Courthouse is not yet resolved. But isn't there another case that's before a federal court here in New Orleans that you know about that we still don't know how that one's going to come out?
Well, right there, a bunch of cases that have come out of Tangipahoa Parish. It seems that no matter how many times they're brought into court, and no matter how many times the court rules against them, they keep coming back. The first case we had dealt with, that's before the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal right now, it's dealing with the invocations at the beginning of council meetings. And they really got bad, because what they were doing was